Welcome to the TTT News Special. I'm DK Roster. We are joined by President and Vice President of the Human Resource Management Association of TNT, Ms. Simone Bowen, and Ms. Keisha Dioki Singh. And we are very happy to be discussing vaccine status, workplace discrimination. It is a webinar that will be happening this Friday, put on by HRMATT. Because, and at the start of the conversation, even before we get into it with the ladies, the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. Keith Rowley, has said that it has not been brought to the Cabinet any conversation about mandatory vaccination. But at the same time, looking at other places of endeavor, if you're not working for the public sector, looking at private sector, what are some of the factors that will be influencing policy decisions? And with that, we're very happy to be speaking to the Human Resource Management Association. And let's start off with Ms. President. In terms of who HRMATT is and who HRMATT represents, can we get that from you, please, Ms. Bowen?
Sure, DK. Thank you so much for speaking with HRMATT and inviting us to have this conversation with TTT. So I'm most excited to be able to reintroduce HRMATT to those of us who may not know what HRMATT represents. Now, HRMATT is the Human Resource Management Association of Trinidad and Tobago. It's an NGO. We are a membership association founded 31 years ago. And we are a group of professionals. We are created a community for HR professionals in Trinidad and Tobago and people leaders as well. And our motto is promoting national development through people. So HRMATT wants to be able to represent the voice of HR professionals and people leaders in Trinidad and Tobago, and to escalate matters of national interest, such as this one. Thank you, DK.
Yes, ma'am, and moving forward, Keisha, let me bring you in, thank you. Bringing value to your members, how does that go about? Because it's one thing to say, okay, well, we're here and there's the membership association, it's an NGO, but in terms of saying, okay, well, specifically, these are the things that HRMATT brings to the table for its members. What are some of those things, Keisha?
Thanks, DK. So I would start off by saying that our biggest benefit thus far to our membership is our membership discount card. So our professionals can get discounts from various merchants, and we're very happy to, ask other merchants to be part of this program with us. So the merchant card is definitely a big discount, a big benefit to our members as well. So also our members have access to various workshops, webinars, sessions similar to the session that we're going to have. So members have complimentary spots to these type of activities. And then of course we talk about the partnerships that we have as well. So we have a partnership with the Society of Human Resource Management, the global HRM, and we are an education partner with HRM, and as such we host the HRM certification classes. So this is another benefit to our members as well. And we actually have another sitting coming up in July 2021, the 28th of July, sorry. We also have the membership partner that we have as a benefit to our association. And then of course, there are the various committees that persons could join. We have the PR committee, the membership committee, we have the advocacy committee. We also have a mentorship program that our members can be part of as well, that was launched back in 2019 under the former VP Alicia Thorpe and also Nicolette Johnson. So we're gonna relaunch this program. So just some areas in terms of the benefits to the membership.
And I see that one of the things that would be benefiting members of the association is the fact that this webinar that takes place on Friday, I believe the 23rd, for members, the prices is a little nicer than for members or for individuals who are not part of the membership. But Simone, I want to ask you though, how important is it to have an organization like this where people can come and possibly consider it a safe space? Because there may be something that you want to bounce off of someone else, but I can see in possibly another situation, you want to ask a question of like-minded professionals, colleagues, peers, and they tell you something like you don't know that, or you feel that there's certain stigma attached to you not knowing something. How does HRMATT fit into an equation like that, allaying those kind of fears?
Thank you for that question, Diki. We are right now creating just that with the conversations that we've been having. We want to be able to escalate each question that persons have to satisfy the national interest. So this upcoming webinar that we are having, it actually springboard of a previous discussion that we had with mandatory vaccination. And in that discussion, what emerged from that discussion is persons' concern for being able to re-enter the workplace having recovered from COVID-19, and some of the concerns people were having about vaccinated persons being a risk to the unvaccinated. So we have that conversation where persons could bring, we would have persons presenting, of course, educating the public on the various aspects of this discussion, and they will be able to ask their questions to our panelists, who Keisha would go more into. She will give us a little bit of introduction to those who would be on our panel, who would be able to answer these questions.
So I like the fact that you started speaking about some of the concerns that would have come out. What are some of the other concerns? And whoever's answering, in terms of Simone or Keisha, please, because this is something that we've been speaking about. Different people have different perceptions, and over time, some people's perception would have changed. But what are some of those things, some of those fears, some of those issues that you all would have had, not necessarily to deal with, but come into contact with, because people are giving you their feedback, because you're escalating these issues, you're raising these issues?
Well, I would take that, Vicky, predominantly the fear that, well, it has been the most frequently asked question. Besides COVID vaccine being mandatory, the frequent asked questions is, could I be barred from returning to work? Could I not be allowed to work? Would I lose my job because I'm not vaccinated? Those are the questions that have been most frequent among others, but those are the frequently asked questions. And therefore, we are going to be able to ventilate those more at the session.
All right, and I'm giving you the opportunity to state your position, because looking at the backgrounds that both of you all are sporting, I see it seems as though you all have, well, HRMATT itself has a position on vaccination. And what would that position be?
Yes. So go ahead.
We are encouraging persons to vaccinate if you can. Because of course, HRMATT supports the public health, the well-being of our citizens. So we support persons being able to vaccinate once they are able to. However, we recognize that there are persons who have concerns for whatever reason, or they may be unable to have vaccine. So that's why we are having the conversation separate apart vaccine status and the workplace discrimination, because we have been hearing those rumblings on the ground where persons are genuinely concerned, and they may have some negative ways in treating with that. But HRMATT is encouraging persons to vaccinate. And what Keisha is going to elaborate on our vaccination drive, because in keeping with that position, HRMATT has actually collaborated with TTCSI and the Chamber of Commerce and AmCham to encourage our members and those who are in their company to take the vaccine, who are able to be vaccinated. And Keisha will be able to share more on that initiative.
All right, and we'll speak to that initiative when we return from this break. We are speaking with President Bowen and Vice President Deoki Singh of the Human Resource Management Association of Trinidad and Tobago. We return with so much more. Stay with us. Welcome back. We are speaking with the President and Vice President of HRMATT and Ms. Vice President Keisha Deoki Singh. Let me, just before we went to the break, President Simone Bowen was speaking about the vaccination drive. So can you elaborate on that a little bit, please?
Sure, thanks. Thanks, DK. So as Simone said, our mandate and our mission and vision and promoting national development through people, we have the hashtag We Are HRMATT, vaccinate if you can. So we started this initiative in collaborating with the Trinidad and Tobago Coalition of Services Industry, TTCSI, as Simone said, to provide a benefit to not only our members, but also for the companies in which our members reside as well. So we saw this as a benefit, an additional benefit, of course, and then for us, in terms of the association, this is how we can push forward and continue the conversation in allowing persons to have the access to the appointments through the TTCSI as well as the TT Chamber and as well as AmCham. So we see now the partnerships there have really benefited not only the association, but also the companies and the communities in which the various companies operate. So to date, we have requested over 600 vaccines for appointments, and I am happy to report that we have secured approximately half of those appointments for about 20 companies. So for example, we've done for the Telecommunications Authority of Trinidad and Tobago, for Anthem Motors, for the Caribbean Natural Resource Institute, as well as Deloitte and Touche. So just to give you a sense of where we're at in terms of this vaccination drive, and we intend to continue and expand the vaccination drive to all companies, not only within the HRMATT network, but also outside of the network as well, in keeping with the Vaccinate If You Can initiative.
And has the drive been geared towards a specific place? Because I hear you asking for the appointments. So is it that it's taking place in a specific place? So like some associations would have had a rollout where everyone in line with that association would have come to a specific place to get their vaccinations. Is it that you're doing it like that, or you're asking for appointments in different places?
Right. So the TTCSI and the Chamber and AmCham as well. Our site, our mass vaccination site, is at Napa. So all of our appointments and all of the requests that come in from the companies would be held at that particular location.
All right, and I want to get into the meat of the matter, please. July 23, vaccine status, workplace discrimination. To start off with, what was the need? What need did you see to have a webinar like that? And then I want you to give me some of the panelists involved, please.
Sure, thanks, DK. So the topic, as Simone mentioned previously, our last, as a spin-off from our last discussion of COVID vaccination, is it mandatory or not? We saw the various perspectives of legal, the union, CEOs, and HR coming together to speak about the if the vaccination is mandatory or not. So coming out of that discussion, the question of discrimination came about. So we know the next step in terms of what is going to happen when persons return to work. This discussion is going to definitely take place. So of course, we had to look at the various considerations and the both sides of the coin in terms of persons who are vaccinated and persons who are not, and how will this impact the return to work. So for the last conversation, we had over 230 persons attended. So therefore, we knew that this is something that is topical and persons want to hear about it. So jumping into the information in terms of our upcoming event, which will be held on Friday, the 23rd of July. Thus far, we have approximately 87 persons registered for the event. And as DK said, as you know, benefits our HRMATT members. It's free to our HRMATT members, and it's $100 VAT inclusive to non-members as well. The time is 5:30 to 7, and on the panelists, we have a powerful panel of Mr. Neil Parsonlal, who is the CEO of Peepsel Consultancy Limited. So it's a premier employee assistance program provider in Trinidad and Tobago. So he is going to bring his perspective in terms of his experience in this field of employee assistance and how this translates into this new environment with the vaccination. We also have Mr. Karan Singh, the Director of Legal Services at the Equal Opportunity Commission of Trinidad and Tobago. So he is going to bring his perspective in terms of the law and what the Equal Opportunity Commission sees as the position moving forward, of course, within the guidelines of the laws of Trinidad and Tobago. And moderating this panel, we have Ms. Georgia Donaldson, who is the Country Chief Culture and Human Development Officer with JMMB Group Trinidad and Tobago. So she is bringing her 25 years of experience in terms of her experience in human resource management to really moderate and handle, this discussion that we're going to have as well.
All right, and just before we go back to Simone, because I want to know the importance of being able to have something like this where people can share and engage and basically share their concerns as well, because sometimes we say, okay, well, we're supposed to be guided by the science, but at the same time, we want to know this or we have this niggling feeling. So in terms of the importance of a webinar like that, just before we ask you that, Simone, we want to go back to Keisha and ask, how do individuals pay? Because I see that it happens virtually. So registration and payment, how does that take place?
Right. So payments, you can do a bank transfer. So once you register, so the process for registration, you can go to our LinkedIn page as well as our Instagram page. So we are HRMATT on Instagram and Human Resource Management Association of Trinidad and Tobago on LinkedIn. The event information is there. The registration details are there. So you have to register in order for us to send you the payment details as well. And then once you are fully registered, you will receive the link for the event. So you can join us there. You can also call the Secretariat at 687-5523 if you're having any difficulties with your registration. And you can also email us at secretariat@HRMATT.com.
And I think that price point is very considerate. Let's put it like that. But so the final comments inside of this minute are yours, Madam President. So the significance of having a webinar like this, as well as anything you may want to put in this final minute.
Yeah, I think if there's one thing that this pandemic taught us, DK, is being able to lead differently, to be able to lead with care, to be empathetic, to be compassionate. So with everything that has to take place going forward as we reopen nationally, as persons return to work, we need to be dialoguing with stakeholders. So we are encouraging our professionals and we are creating a platform where persons could come and dialogue, come and get support. HRMATT, of course, will offer support through our consultancy services to our professionals who may need it. And we encourage persons to come and join the association as well, to be able to reach out to us to get the relevant support. I mean, we had just completed a strategic planning session, and we are charting a new course for HRMATT in terms of how we operate. And so one of these ways that persons will see us showing up that might be different is with these spaces, these safe spaces that we are creating for persons to come dialogue with us, for us to bring information, for us to educate, and for us to create that community where they could feel supported and come to us for answers. And in the larger scheme of things, it's about balancing lives and livelihoods. So while employers need to move quickly and rapidly in terms of reopening their business, we are also encouraging them, each case on its own merit, where vaccine status is concerned, where we take the time to speak about what might legitimately be concerning our employee, what it is maybe hindering them from taking the vaccine if for whatever reason they are not vaccinated, or is there a concern where religion is concerned or medical issues are concerned. So it's very important that we have these spaces where persons to come and dialogue and take it back to their organization and for them to feel supported. And for our stakeholders to remember that HRMATT is here for you. And as you, Keisha would have shared, we are doing things as well to support the drive towards vaccination and for us to be able to return to some level of normalcy.
And we see that tagline, we are HRMATT, vaccinate if you can. Thank you so much, Simone Bowen, President, and Keisha Deoki Singh, Vice President of the Human Resources Management Association of Trinidad and Tobago. And we want to thank you for tuning into the TTT News Special. On behalf of the entire news team, have a good one.